Hi everyone, thank you for tuning in to another video presented to you by Luminous Coaching. Today we're going to be talking about how we can improve our relationships with others. This is a very important skill to have in your personal life, in your professional life. Doesn't matter where you are, you can use this skill whenever. So the number one thing we can do to improve our relationships with others is to listen. Listen intently when we're in conversation. This is because we want to make the other person feel important. Everybody wants to feel important. It's just a natural tendency that humans possess. One of the ways that we can make them feel important is by listening to them, giving them an ear, being an outlet for them to express themselves. And when you do talk, respond to what they just talk about. Talk about them. Further their conversation points and redirect it back at them. This will want this will have them wanting to talk about you after they finish talking about themselves, which is a great um, way to further the conversation and to improve your relationships. There is an art to conversation, and half of that art is listening and noticing body language, noticing the hints and subtleties in their movements, in their facial expressions, where their eyes are looking. These are the simple ways that you can improve your relationships with others. While in conversation with that person, you can also compliment them, and this will make them feel great inside. As much as listening really makes them feel important, complimenting them helps boost their self esteem, which naturally we all need more of. It's not, we don't need more ego, we need more self esteem, more self confidence in ourselves. And by providing another person with some compliments can help to raise their self esteem. So compliment the other person. It could be something like, hey, I like that bag that you have. It's very nice. Or, you know, very very nice car. I like the tires. Something along those lines. It's very the examples that I just gave are very general, but I'm sure you could find something to compliment if you looked hard enough. But be genuine in the compliment. Don't flatter them. Flattery is insincere. Genuinely compliment them. They'll be able to tell in your tone of voice and the energy that is being expressed outwardly from you. So compliment, raise your self-esteem, be genuine about it. Give feedback, but only if they ask for it, because you don't want to give them feedback when they are not emotionally capable of handing it at that time. If they say, "Hey, what do you think I should do about this?" Then offer what you think they should do about that. And give them feedback if you know it will help them. Your timing is very important for this. If they just finished telling you about an emotionally intense situation that they just had, you don't want to start pointing out their flaws and telling what they need to do better, because they're just gonna kind of resent you. Rather, pay attention to the timing when they're not as um, emotionally, stimulated. You don't want them to resent you. You want them to absorb what you're saying so that it can help them in the future. And this is a very simple technique. This next one is, don't discourage them. Never discourage anybody. It's very damaging to another person's um, psyche. And not only that, um, You're not improving your relationships with others when you're discouraging them by saying, no, you can't do that, you shouldn't do that. You're placing a limit on their abilities when you don't even know them. So never discourage, always encourage. And if you feel that maybe someone isn't self aware enough, maybe you think that someone is getting um, ahead of themselves, they're going into deep waters, and you don't think that is right for them, guide them, but don't discourage them. Guide them to what you think is right, and this will allow them to think about what you said. Because if you're listening, if you're complimenting them, then they're going to be valuing you as a human more so than anybody else who doesn't listen or who doesn't compliment them. So when you give them your advice and you say, hey, maybe this would be a better route for you, rather than saying, hey, don't do that, maybe this would be a better route for you, just say, hey, maybe this would be a better route for you. And then it's much easier for them to handle. Don't discourage, always encourage. Don't place limits on other people's abilities. That's just going to deter the relationship and make it not as good as it could be. Listen, once again, we're going to talk about listening. This is very important. I mentioned it first on our list of subjects that we're talking about on how we can improve our relationships with others. And listening, sorry, is worth mentioning twice because of the value that it has. It's so important to listen to other people. There's a statement and it says, you have two ears and one mouth. Use them proportionally, which means you should be listening twice as much as you should be talking. So listen, listen, listen. It's a great way to improve your relationships with others, even though it may not seem like it would be a great way to improve your relationships with others. Be genuine, be mindful, be happy, keep eye contact when you're talking with the other person, when you're in conversation with them. Because if you're looking around and you're breaking eye contact, you're not listening intently. They they know that your focus and your energy is somewhere else. Respond to what they're saying with your body, with your eyes. When they say a point, or when they make a point, rather, respond to it. Respond to it. They're going to know if it goes in one ear and out the other. They're just going to know. And thus, your relationships will not grow as much as it could be. Talk about only positive things with other people. And this is very important because people have enough problems of their own. They don't want to be burdened with someone else's problems. This really depends on how well you know the other person. For example, if you have a neighbor who lives down the street from your house, and maybe you run into them once every month, don't talk about your problems every single time that you are in a conversation with that person. In fact, I would recommend never talking about your problems or any negative situation whatsoever. Your problems are really for you and for your very, very close, intimate associates. You don't want to be broadcasting your problems to everybody. You don't want that negativity associated with you. You don't want that drama being being live. You don't want it. You want to try and cap it, put the flame out, right? Talk about positive things with other people. Then when a person, for example, that neighbor sees you, they're going to only associate positivity with you. They're only going to say, every time I see that person, they talk about positive things. And naturally, they're going to be more inclined to want to talk to you. So I hope that this video has helped you, and I can confidently say that if you follow the steps and techniques outlined in this video, you will improve your relationships with others greatly. Have a great day. See you next time.